Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Xrpan Reads. Today I'll be doing my most anticipated reads for April, May, and June. So before I get started with all the books that I'm excited for and looking forward to for the next 3 months, if you're new to this channel, please don't hesitate to subscribe down below as well as hit the notification bell. But let's just jump right into all the books that I am super psyched for and cannot wait to pick up. So for April, I have 3 books that I am extremely excited for. The first book is Hotel Magnifique, hoping I pronounced that name correctly, by Emily J. Taylor. This one is out on April 5th, and this book sounds really similar to The Splendor by Brianna Shields. That one is all about, like, they're both about like hotels that have kind of like a magical ability. This one is about a hotel that can actually transport itself, or it somehow ends up at a new destination every morning, and it follows a girl. Her name is Jenny, who cannot afford the exorbitant price that these hotel guests have to pay, so she decides to interview them and just kind of see what it's like, etc. And she somehow ends up on an adventure where she starts to uncover some of the hotel's dangerous secrets. It sounds really cool. I feel like apparently this hotel having magical abilities is a kind of a trend going on right now, so I'm excited to dive into this book. Plus the cover is really cool. Then the next book that I'm excited for is An Arrow to the Moon by Emily Xrpan, and this one is out on April 12th. This is a must read for me, or Emily is a must read author for me, because I adored her previous book. I did a dedicated whole book review on it, so I will link that above and down below. You can check that out, but I adore that book. It was so freaking good. And this one is all about Chinese mythology, and all I remember is that this is about a guy who somehow has the perfect aim for a bow and arrow, and you know, it follows a girl as well, but that's kind of all I know. But it doesn't really matter because this book is by a must read author for me. The next one that I'm excited for is The No Show by Beth, and this one is also out on April 12th. This one sounds so interesting, like a lot of drama, a lot of tea is gonna happen, because it basically follows 3 women who have nothing in common except that they're both somehow stood up by the same man for Valentine's Day. So I'm just kind of curious to find out, like, how do they know that they were stood up by the same exact guy, and what the fuck was this guy doing setting up all 3 of them? And just like, I have questions, okay? And I feel like there is gonna be hot tea in this book, and I am excited for it. All right, moving on to May, I have a ton of books that I was really excited for. I narrowed down to just a few. The first book that I'm excited for, and it's one that I'm so grateful to receive a copy of, and that is The Book of Night by Holly Black. This one is out on May 3rd, and this is basically a modern dark fantasy with secret societies, and it's supposed to be like reminiscent of Ninth House and The Night Circus. Ninth House, and I'm not super sure about that book, but I liked what Leigh Bardugo was doing in that book. But Night Circus I have not read, but I adore her writing style, because I read her other book recently and it was just so good. So obviously I have very high hopes for this one, because if it's supposed to be reminiscent of these 2 authors, which and Holly Black I adore as well, like they're all like must read, must buy authors for me either way. So I'm just excited to see what she has in store for me in this book. Then the next book that I'm excited for is Forging Silver into Stars by Bridget. This one is also out on May 3rd, and this is supposed to be a spin-off series to the Breaker series, which I adored. One of my favorite series for sure. And this time it follows 2 characters, Jax and Callan, and it's set in Silk Shadows, which is where Liamara and Gray resides at. So I'm just super curious to see, you know, if they will show up in this book, in this new series, and what roles they will play, as well as these 2 new characters. The next one I'm excited for is one I have not heard too much about, but I saw that and I was like, wait, this sounds so fascinating, and that is Braverly by Maggie Stiffwater. This one is also out on May 3rd. It's basically a unique retelling that follows a few years after the end of Brave. So I'm just curious to see what book this will be like, and how Maggie Stiffwater will portray Brave after it ended in the movie, because the movie was super cute. I really liked it. So I'm just excited to see like what happens after. Then this next book that I'm excited for is called Twin Crown by Katherine Doyle and Catherine Weber, and this book is out on May 17th. This book basically follows twin princesses that are separated at birth. One is Princess Rose, who was raised to be the princess, and the other is Ren, who was taken as an infant and was raised with the goal to abduct her sister, steal the crown, and somehow avenge their parents' death. So I'm just super curious as to why did Ren get abducted, like I'm just confused here and I have lots of questions. So I thought this book sounded just super fascinating. So obviously I cannot wait to dive into this one. The next one just sounds so adorable, and that is Once Upon a K Prom by Chad Cho. And this one is out on May 17th. So this book basically follows a girl called Lena Sue who has always been overshadowed by her family, her peers, etc. Until one day an international K-pop star shows up at her front door and asks her out to prom. But the thing is, she is so confused because Robbie Choi, who is that K-pop star, used to be her best friend. And when they were kids, they had made a promise to go to prom together, but that was years ago and that was before he became a K-pop star. So obviously this book sounds like super adorable. I'm here for the romance. I'm here for just all the feels. So definitely cannot wait for this. All right, so that's it for May. Moving on to June. June, I only have 2 books I am extremely excited for. The first book is The House Across the Lake by Radley. This one is out on June 21st, and I have no idea what this book is about, but it's by Radley. I honestly have yet to read a book by this author that I did not like, that I did not give like 4 or 5 stars. So obviously must buy, must read author for me. Need to pick up this book ASAP. The next one is kind of different than what I normally pick up, I feel like, and that is A Taste of Gold and Iron by Alexandra Roland. And this one is also out on June 21st, and it's basically a MM romance featuring a bodyguard that is also set in a fantasy Ottoman Empire-like world. I mean, how cool does that sound? So I'm just super psyched for this, and the cover is stunning. So anyways, these are all the books I am super hyped up for the next 3 months. Cannot wait to get my hands on them as soon as possible. Let me know down below, which books are you excited for? Was there any that I missed that you're like, Stephanie, you need to pick up this book ASAP when it comes out, etc. But as always, if you like this video, please do give me a thumbs up. Or really just help out my channel. And if you like to see more content of me, please don't hesitate to subscribe down below, as well as hit the notification bell. But as always, don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.